Hello, professionals. Let's talk about how to network your way into a new role inside your same company using some of what we've learned today. At PathFinder, we use a 4-step process to make this transition. Identify, prepare, communicate, and wait. Let's discuss each one in turn. Well, no surprise here, but if you want to transition roles within your company, you are going to have to figure out which roles. What group or function do they fit in? A couple thoughts here. First, be mindful of any barriers between you and that role. Make sure you have the qualifications like education, certification, training, etc. you'll need to even approach the target role. Second, here are some questions to consider while you look around for jobs and areas that might be a better fit. Ask yourself, what about the old role wasn't working for you? Is it fundamental to that job, or was it a people-based problem? What kind of problems do you want to work on in the future? What other options are there in your company, and how do they map to your aspiration? As well as ask about the details of the transition process. What would the mechanics of that process look like? Once you've nailed those questions down, you're ready to do a bit more prep. Preparing here a bit more formally will require 3 things. First, you need to synthesize the insights from the identify phase into a clear articulation of your motivation for leaving your current role. You are going to have to explain why you want to move roles numerous times to many different people, so be ready with a punchy explanation. For a challenge like that, we recommend a structure like this. Looking back, describe your past experience in your current role, acknowledge the good parts of the role, and be honest about what is missing that would make the role a better fit for you. Looking around is next. Describe how you spotted a group or function in the company that looks like a better fit. Detail how that role maps to your aspiration. Then, look ahead. You see yourself in this role in the future and are motivated to demonstrate your fit for the position. And then finally, look out. Look out for the firm. Close with why this isn't just best for you, it's also best for the company. Armed with this articulation, you should start to talk to people who do that job. Just don't do it with anybody inside your own company quite yet. First, you should go to people in your network not inside your company that do that job to discuss with them your aspiration to transition to that role and to learn more. Ask them to share insider information about the job, good, bad, and ugly. Ask them about the people they've seen transition into that role. How did it go? What did they learn? Learn the qualifications of the role, as well as what makes someone great at it. You can get all this information without raising any eyebrows inside your own organization. And you can take what you learn and update your articulation and strategy going forward. Finally, you don't need to announce an intention to transfer to begin building relationships with your target area. Conduct a coffee chat with a colleague from that group. Swing by their team at the next happy hour. Pay attention to the emails they send out and the projects they are working on. Begin building real relationships in your target area. It will increase your odds of getting their consideration later on when you need it. All right, you've identified the right target. Now you're prepared to go for it. Now it's time to communicate your intentions and start making things happen. First things first, you can't go around your manager, nor should you want to in most cases. You'll probably need their approval, so the first official move here is to clear the runway by communicating your intentions to your manager. Start by sharing your motivation. You know, the thing we prepared already. Next, express your care for the challenges a transition will pose for your manager. They might have to backfill your role, so align with them on what to do about it to ensure you get the chance to transfer while you continue doing a good job and prepare for that role to get filled by someone else. Once you and your manager are on the same page, it's time for a test flight. The target will almost always have final say over who gets to transfer in. Fortunately, you've already started to build a relationship with professionals in your target area, but now it's time to go a step further and support them in a professional capacity. Take a test flight by working on a project with that group or supporting a piece of analysis or filling in for absent colleagues. You can do any number of things as long as you make sure to demonstrate 1, your competence for the role, and 2, your fit for their culture, and 3, your passion about what they do and your willingness to learn quickly. Little change of pace here because for the first time, we have a final step that is passive. Unfortunately, that is necessary here as you won't have the power to approve your own transfer. So you have to wait. But don't let your lack of control get in the way of you gearing up for the change. We recommend more prep in the form of additional training, education, conversation, and more, so you are as ready as possible to fill that role full-time when the opportunity arises. More relationships. You may not be in the group yet, but don't let that stop you from building the relationships you established in the prepare phase. More of the same. In your current role, that is. You can't check out and move on. You still have a job to do, and if you mail it in the final days, it may kill your chances to transfer. It's been a while since we referenced Star Wars, so we have to close with it. Double pop culture whammy here because it involves Game of Thrones too. Did you know that Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were selected to create a Star Wars trilogy? Lucasfilm in February 2018 identified them and put them in charge of a trilogy to be released some years later. A year after that announcement, the final season of Game of Thrones was released and received immense backlash for being the worst season of the show by far and wrapping up the massive series with a series of poorly established and nonsensical conclusions. I could complain about season 8 of Game of Thrones for at least 43 minutes straight without taking a single breath, but I will spare you here. A few months after Game of Thrones concluded, Benioff and Weiss left the Star Wars project. You see, they landed their dream job and stopped caring about their old job before it was done. They failed to take their work seriously, they rushed the script and production, they goofed around on set, and they set Game of Thrones on fire. Their future employer did not like that, and neither did anyone who watched that show, so they lost their next job. Avoid your own red wedding by doubling down and working extra hard at your current role as you get closer to a possible transition. Good luck.